Hello and welcome to a weekly recap. Today is Thursday the 19th of February and I am 99% sure I'm going to be ending the trading week here. Reason for that, obviously we've taken one loss and one small win that we are going to cover obviously in this weekly recap, and this is just a video to go over the thought process throughout the week, what went not necessarily wrong, but what didn't work in our favour, what we've done to capitalise on potential and invalidation to validate something else. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So if you were to watch the weekly outlook and as well as the daily outlook that followed, which was on the Tuesday, you would have known I entered a long position on EURUSD, and I was aiming to short DXY. Now, I ultimately analyse everything on DXY because DXY is what I believe moves the market in the correspondence of EURUSD and GBPUSD. Now, what we were looking at was a simple continuation trade off of last week's consolidation, which was this price action here. We had obviously displaced out of the weekly FVG, we had consolidated this NFP candle, made a bit of a doji, and then it was quite simple. All we wanted was a potential sweep of this NFP high, which actually has disappeared, but I will show you there was a daily FVG here. So this was the tap into the daily FVG. We were looking for a manipulation of this high and then just to trade lower to this draw target and even potentially this draw target. Now, as you can see from the candles that are presented in front of you, it was a losing trade. But would I take this trade 100 times over? Yes, I would. Reason being, one, it was part of my plan. Two, when you get a candle that looks like this on the daily, this daily candle here, in my understanding, it's a strong manipulation and price potentially wanted to go lower. Everything from candlestick anatomy to understanding price action, it was a valid shot, and that's why I'm not upset at taking a loss. Trading's all about probabilities. Not every trade is going to be a winner, and understanding that is accepting part of being a day / swing trader. So I will go on to Euro so you can see my position that I was in. I'll scale down to the 4 hour so it can be a bit clearer. So all it was, obviously this was NFP low here that corresponded with DXY. Obviously once we had done this on the daily, again, if I just move this position over, you can see this candle tapped into deeper levels almost, or it did actually tap the order block, and you know, we just decided to take the long position as I said about on DXY. So again, nothing wrong with the trade. As you can see, it did go into a little bit of profit, but that was short-lived, and price come down and stopped us out for a 1.5% loss. Not a problem. I can now delete this position. I was waiting for this position before I'd done the video just so I could show you exactly what I was doing, and on DXY I can get rid of that and show you what else has happened through the week. So like I say, Wednesday we got stopped out. It was Wednesday, if we go down to the 1 hour, I'll tell you exactly. It was around end of New York session, around 5 PM ish, which is when it officially stopped us out. So that leads me on to today. Now, obviously, I'm just going to flick to the weekly so I can show you exactly what I was looking at. Understanding that when we have stop losses in invalidation areas, if something becomes invalidated, then that means something could potentially become validated. And what do I mean by that? Well, if I tried DXY shorts and I had my stop at the correct invalidation zone, surely if that trade loses, then I'm not saying to immediately switch bias to DXY longs, but understanding that where is then the next logical areas that price is gravitated towards. Well, we have two areas, and what that looked like was previous week high, which was this candle here, and then the first week in February, which is this candle here. And I had already marked this out as a previous week high, but I changed it to a draw target. Now, say exactly the same thing in what I just showed you with the daily. When you have a tap into a POI, price sometimes, not all the time, wants to go back, sweep the tap, and then displace lower. So in my eyes, a logical area of interest would be this weekly high. So understanding that, understanding I've taken a loss on DXY shorts, can I position myself into an intraday position to get in for DXY buys? So how did I do that? Well, it was quite simple really. After obviously a strong push up yesterday through New York session, during Asia session we obviously chopped around a little bit, and then upon waking up this morning I see DXY trading a little bit lower, and what I had noticed was obviously this H1 FVG, which is highlighted here. So straight away my eyes are drawn to that. Now what I'm looking for is a simple low of the day, and it's exactly the same model from a swing perspective into an intraday perspective. The only difference is instead of it being low or high of the week, it's a low or high of the day. So can I find and have a confirmed low of the day that potentially looks good to me to then try and take a trade on? Now, as you can see, price comes down and taps into this H1, provides a little bit of confirmation on the first candle, but then the second candle is where it really starts to show. So we actually get a tiny internal sweep here. Now from here, obviously price actually closed up here and immediately started to trade higher. Now, yes, we have a bearish FVG here, but if this is the correct low of the day play, this will get ran through, and there's always going to be an array of some sort in the way of a trade. That's just how the market works. It's going to leave areas that need to be either validated or invalidated through the process, right? So once I had seen price started to trade up, I was happy, and I actually got a bit of a better entry on GU here. I think it might have been around here on 11 o'clock candle, something like that. Once I had seen this next candle have volume and intent, I was happy to accept risk and take a GU short. Now, unfortunately, GU decided to play funny games, and it didn't give me a 1 to 7 risk to reward, because like I say, I always analyze on DXY, but I will execute on GU or EU. And then what I was looking for on GU was obviously a bigger ultimate swing target, but knowing that DXY was closer to the draw that could change everything, I exited as soon as DXY took the draw target that I had marked out. So logical explanation is when DXY takes a draw, we evaluate and we either enter or exit trades based upon DXY's movement. So like I say, I didn't get a 1 to 7 risk to reward. I think it was about a 1 to 4 on GU, maybe just under a 1 to 4, which is fine. I'm not quibbling about the trade itself. The trade was a very, very easy, valid trade, and it was, like I say, it was a simple low of the day play on DXY, i.e. a high of the day play on GU. And yeah, that's basically it. And this is why I say about ending the week here, because don't want to dive into next week's weekly outlook, but now we've had the weekly sweep here. This goes back to what I was saying. Is this going to be a sweep? Is this going to be a manipulation? Are we now going to start trading lower? Or, alternatively, price will actually give a strong indication of bullish and will start targeting the pivot high, which is up here, or furthermore, a resting order block, which is here. So, obviously, hopefully a nice week to come into next week. The reason why I don't want to necessarily take a trade tomorrow is because we've taken this major draw on liquidity of buy side liquidity. It doesn't make sense for me to entertain anything right now. So for me, ending the week here would be the most logical thing to do, and capital preservation, because it has been a rough few weeks. The markets haven't been the greatest price action we've ever seen. So in times like this, it's better to sit on your hands and let the buyers scream out to you, opposed to taking unnecessary riskier trades that on a better day we wouldn't necessarily take. So that's this week recap done. I hope you've taken something from this. Like I said, it's all about transparency. Whether it's a winning week, a losing week, or a break-even week, I will continuously upload these videos just for my personal documentation and for anybody who does like to watch and understand how I personally read price action. As always, if you do have any questions or want to know anything, drop them below and I will get back to you. And yeah, if you do like what you see, drop the video a like and subscribe, and we will see you either Sunday or Monday for a new weekly outlook ready for next week.